You're kind of in the way, if you don't mind. Excuse me. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. As you can tell by the title, we are going to be talking about the NCLEX and how I passed in 75 questions on my first try. I want to say a big congratulations to everybody who was commenting under my previous NCLEX video and saying that they passed their boards. I'm so happy for all of y'all. And for everybody who is still trying to pass or did not pass the first time, do not give up hope. We are here for you. This is why we make videos like this, to help others who are coming after us. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, in no particular order, I'm starting with Uworld first. Uworld is a pretty popular NCLEX study tool. If you don't know what it is already, it's just basically a big test bank that you can purchase a subscription for, and it gives you access to, I believe, 2,190 questions total. And depending on the kind of package you buy, you can get a self-assessment. I bought the 60-day package, and that came with one self-assessment, which I took like 3 days before my test. But anyway, this can be very, very overwhelming. Like, hearing that you have that many questions, you're probably like, who's doing all that? It's all about creating a game plan. You might not get to all 2,190 questions, but it's okay. Like, it's not the end of the world. At the end of the day, as long as you are understanding the questions and why you got them wrong, that's what's most important. So for me, how I used Uworld, I selected all topics, all body systems. I always kept everything checked. Some people like to break it down and go through subject by subject, because every subject tells you how many questions are in that subject. Like pharmacology, for example, it can have 300, and med-surg can have 1,600. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like you can pick and choose what you want in your test. But for me personally, I always selected everything because I wanted to see a little bit of everything. I didn't want to just limit myself to a specific subject, because I'm like, at the end of the day, if I don't get to that subject, then what happens? Then it's untouched. I'd rather just see a little bit of everything. So that's what I did. I was working as a tech while studying for my boards on the same floor that I'm working at right now. So you already know it's 12-hour shifts. I was not doing those 75 questions a day, definitely not. So on my off days, I did 75 questions a day in the morning and in the night. And that's how I started training myself into getting into just NCLEX mode and everything. On the days that I was working, I would do like 10 questions anytime I had downtime. That's like easy peasy. Like, you can go through that, you know, quickly. Or even you could do 5. My biggest tip when using Uworld is to not make it so formal. You do not always have to sit down, get your notebook, put your glasses on. Like, you don't have to do all that. You can literally be in your bed. I don't think I ever sat down to take my Uworld questions. I always was like somewhere comfortable. You want to be comfortable because it's not fun studying, okay? You're gonna start, you know, just getting irritated and like your back start hurting because you sit in your office chair, and just like make it comfortable, okay? It doesn't have to be so uptight and just strict. Like, do you and what makes you feel comfortable. I think the biggest thing with Uworld is to make sure you are reading the rationales. Don't just do the question and, oh, I got it right, next. No, because most times, let me not speak for everybody, but most times for me, if I don't know the answer, I'm just gonna guess, and if I got it right, girl, I'm gonna just keep going, because it's like, well, I got it right. But the important thing is to make sure you are understanding why you got the question right. If you got it wrong, make sure you write it down. Or if it's something that you are really getting wrong all the time, write down the topic and go on YouTube and look up people. Like, there are so many YouTube videos about nursing topics and everything. So make sure you are understanding why you got the question wrong. Make sure you are understanding why you got the question right. And if you are really struggling in that topic, you need to write it down and go back and review your stuff on it, because you can't just sweep stuff under the rug. You don't know what they're gonna, you know, give you on the NCLEX. So you want to make sure you're well versed on all your topics. I think that's all for your Uworld. Honestly speaking, I took my self-assessment, I believe, like 3 days before my test, and I got 76th percentile, which was a very high chance of passing. When I saw that, I was so happy, but I knew at the same time that is not a guaranteed determination on whether or not you're gonna pass, because I have heard of people who unfortunately got a really high chance of passing and still failed the NCLEX. So you never want to get cocky with these things at all. I highly suggest Uworld or any kind of NCLEX style test bank. They have Archer, Kaplan, they have like a whole bunch of different ones. It's just whatever works for you. But I use Uworld personally, and I think it brought me a sense of comfort when taking the NCLEX, because it literally was the same format. Like the same color screen, the same like like everything on the screen looked like I was just looking at Uworld. So that made me kind of more calm, you know? So that was just me. I don't know what other test banks look like, but yeah, that's pretty much how I use Uworld. Always do your questions wherever you can, at a red light, if you're waiting at the cash register, do it. There's 5 questions minimum. So you can do 5 questions while waiting for somebody or while waiting for your food to come out of the restaurant. Like, don't feel like you have to always do 75 in one sitting. That's my biggest thing. Next is my boy, my homie, okay? This man can literally come to my wedding. Mark Klimek Audios, I'm sure you've also heard of him. He is a nursing guru. Like, he is the godfather of nursing. This man literally takes everything you learn in nursing school and breaks it down into the simplest stuff. Like, he has a total of, I believe, 11 audio lectures that you can find online, even on YouTube. And he also has like I don't want to say a transcript, but kind of like a worksheet, like huge PowerPoint that's basically like exactly what he's saying in the lectures. So you can go through and highlight and write on it. I highly suggest printing out this document that comes with the audios because it's very helpful. I wrote down a lot of notes and like little tips and tricks that he said stuck with me and still stick with me to this day. Like, he really explains topics very, very well. And I'm gonna try to see if I can find a link to his stuff, but I'm sure you can find it anywhere anyway. But yeah, Mark K is the homeboy, and there's not really much to say about him, but he really just teaches you how to take the NCLEX. He teaches you how to be successful on these questions without even knowing the content. And that's what I was saying previously. Like, you don't really have to know everything, but if you know how to attack these questions, you can really have a high chance of getting the question right with knowing absolutely nothing about it. He teaches you about prioritization and like delegation, like very big topics that are heavily tested on the NCLEX. He really had great lectures about, so I highly suggest you guys listen to him. I listened to every single one of his lectures, and I believe I listened to the prioritization lecture I think the day before my NCLEX because I was too nervous. I still studied the day before, even though they tell you not to. But it was like very brief studying, but definitely get your hands on those lectures and save it. This is a gem. Like, I feel like I would have not known about this if not for me reading stuff on Reddit. This is called NCLEX High Yield. So definitely let me know down below if you guys have heard about this, but when I tell y'all, I have never ever learned so much in so little time. I don't know how many podcasts they have out now because they do them like weekly, but at the time I think there were like maybe 12 when I listened or so, and they are literally like the nitty gritty, like the important stuff, not the fluff and the nonsense that they confuse you with. He literally takes, I think his name is Dr. I can't remember right now. I'll put it on the screen, but he literally is the reason I feel like I got a high passing score on my Uworld assessment, because right before I took it, I listened to every single one of his podcasts. And don't only listen, you need to be writing as well. Me personally, I'm the kind of learner who learns when they write stuff. So I wrote down literally every single thing he said. And when I tell you, this stuff stuck with me, even when I was on the NCLEX, I was thinking and I was just hearing his voice in my head. So many topics that I really struggled with in nursing school, he covered, and I'm like, what? Like, where were you when I needed you back then? But unfortunately, he's new. I guess fortunately, he's new, so he'll be helping future students. But I would have really benefited greatly from him. His audio lectures can be found on Spotify and Apple, and they're free. And he also does weekly WebEx sessions, and you can literally tune in live with him, and he goes over these topics. If you miss it, that's where the audio lecture comes from. But when I tell you, I was blown. Like, I could not believe how simple he was making topics sound. And I'm like, wow, I can't believe I got all this stuff wrong my whole nursing school career. And I'm just now learning it now. But I feel like if you are in a rush, some people like to like schedule their tests really quickly and don't study. If you're in a rush, definitely listen to NCLEX High Yield podcast. The great thing about his podcasts are that he literally does not waste your time, okay? When I tell you he gets to the nitty gritty, he surely does. None of that long stuff where you start zoning out and thinking about what you're about to eat for dinner. No, he literally is short and sweet, and I love people who teach that way. I cannot stress it enough. Everybody that asks me, I always say NCLEX High Yield, NCLEX High Yield. Like, the fact that he does weekly WebEx sessions is so thoughtful, and they're free. He's not charging for any of this. Like, so I highly suggest you guys go check him out. and show him some love because he definitely deserves it. Like, I don't think I would have felt so prepared and over prepared for the NCLEX if not for him. Like, Mark K was nice, Uworld was nice, but just listening to him and writing down all of the notes that I took on what he was saying really helped me. And I also reread those notes like the day before my test as well. So I also feel like it's important to take notes because you might think you're retaining stuff, but sometimes you just have so much information in your head and you start forgetting. So make sure you're definitely taking notes. If you're not a note-taking kind of person, that's fine, but I mean, for me, I just feel like writing stuff down helps you remember it more. But yeah. So along with those 3 things, Uworld, NCLEX High Yield, and Mark K lectures, I also utilized Registered Nurse RN. Girl, when I tell you, that's my homegirl, like, oh my gosh. So let's get started. Her little like country voice always sticks in my head. But anyway, Registered Nurse RN is a great channel to utilize here on YouTube. When I tell you she got me through my whole nursing school, like, we all know. Some of these teachers are garbage. So you literally just sit there and lecture and it's like, in one ear, out the other, and then you go home and have to teach yourself. So Registered Nurse RN is the reason I got through nursing school. She has all NCLEX style review videos on pretty much every single topic you go through in nursing school. If you have not subscribed to her, I don't know what you're doing. Maybe you just get it. But I feel like she's a great way to cover your content quickly. All her videos are about 20 minutes, sometimes I think like 25, but like they're not long, and she gets straight to the point. Whenever I would use her, I would always, like I said, I write. So whenever I would use her, I would pause, write down every single thing she has written on her little whiteboard, and make sure I'm writing down all the acronyms. I would take notes, like notes. Like if you look at my notebook, it's all like Registered Nurse RN's like acronyms. So many things she helped me remember because of like little things she would say and mnemonics and stuff. But she's very great. I know there's a whole bunch of other people who teach stuff on YouTube, but that's my homegirl, so I'm gonna promote her, okay? So I think that's about it. Like, Registered Nurse RN, Uworld, Mark K lectures, NCLEX High Yield were the main things that I use. Take it slow, do not be overwhelmed. If you believe in a higher power, pray to them, pray to whoever you believe to. Have faith in yourself. If you made it through nursing school, you can make it through the NCLEX, especially if you had an exit exam. Not everybody has one, but my school had an exit exam. It was 180 questions. If you didn't pass, you had to stay back for another 6 weeks in the program, and you would not, like, you know, graduate with everybody else. So yeah, if you could pass your exit exam, if you can make it through nursing school, you can pass the NCLEX. Like, come on now, you'll be fine. That exit exam, I think, also did help me prepare for the NCLEX because, child, they said if you could pass that, you have basically a 94-95% chance of passing the NCLEX. So, well, NCLEX on the first try. But yeah, I mean, another good thing I could say to use if you're somebody who likes to read, the Pink Book by ATI. Not everybody uses ATI in their school, but it looks like this. So this is the Pink Book. This is the comprehensive NCLEX review. To be honest, I bought this book and I didn't even crack it open. I'm not a reader, I'm a writer, like a listen and write kind of person. So I did not even crack this book open. But I've heard a lot of people say good things about this book as well. So if you want to check it out, go ahead and do so. I do not want to look at any of these books ever again. So if you need them, let me know. But yeah, guys, that's the end of this video. I hope you guys like learned a thing or two. Like, I feel like I was kind of like rambling. This is my first like ever like sit down and talk video, so it's kind of weird. Kind of took a lot of tries. I hope you guys were able to get a tip or two. For those of you who are watching this video nervous about your NCLEX, you got this. God has you in his hands, and he is not going to bring you to nursing school to leave you hanging at the end. So just have faith in yourself and know that you got this, okay? Make sure you guys like this video and subscribe and check out my previous videos until I catch y'all in the next one.